Due to their ruthless precision and predatory instincts, the Tsar were a species feared across the universe. When they turned their attention to humanity, they viewed them as easy targets, underestimating the resilience and ingenuity of their intended prey. Their reptilian appearance and unparalleled tracking skills made them terrifying foes. They lived for the thrill of the chase, often preying on weaker civilizations to assert dominance. Initially, their motive for attacking humans was straightforward: to demonstrate their superiority and expand their territory with minimal opposition. The Tsar unleashed vicious assaults on isolated human colonies scattered throughout the galaxy. Their attacks were fast and unforgiving, leaving a trail of destruction. Entire settlements were annihilated, and survivors were few, haunted witnesses spreading tales of terror and hopelessness. As colonies crumbled under the Tsar's relentless assaults, their fearsome legend grew. They reveled in the panic they spread, convinced their supremacy was uncontested. Human settlements plunged into turmoil as the attacks escalated. Fear and chaos engulfed the colonists, who struggled to grasp the merciless nature of their aggressors. Families were shattered, communities wiped out, and psychological scars ran deep, with the memories of savage hunts haunting the few who lived. Amid the despair, a handful of key figures emerged: military strategists, scientists, and tactical minds, each determined to fight back. Unbeknownst to the Tsar, humanity had not been idle. A secretive military division known as the Phantom Corps had long been preparing for a threat of this magnitude. Composed of elite warriors, engineers, and researchers, they had developed advanced stealth technologies and experimental weaponry. Their arsenal included cloaking systems, energy-based arms, and cutting-edge drones capable of both reconnaissance and combat. Their preparedness was the result of years of careful planning, designed to shield humanity against even the deadliest invaders. The Phantom Corps launched into action the moment the Tsar began their invasion. With advanced technology at their disposal, their first counteroffensive was a masterstroke of precision and surprise. Human forces targeted Tsar hunting parties with coordinated ambushes, infiltrating enemy territory with cloaked ships to carry out pinpoint strikes that disoriented their adversaries. Accustomed to dominating unchallenged, the Tsar were thrown into disarray. What they once dismissed as weak opposition now revealed itself as a formidable and unpredictable enemy. Human energy weapons sliced through Tsar armor, and their combat drones outpaced the alien hunters, shifting the power dynamics entirely. The hunters became the hunted. Panic spread among the Tsar ranks. The tide was turning. Though late to respond, humanity came prepared. The Tsar were stunned to face an opponent whose technological prowess surpassed their expectations. Yet, after the shock of the human retaliation, the Tsar regrouped. Their subsequent waves were more calculated and ruthless. The war escalated rapidly, with both factions bracing for a prolonged and punishing conflict. To keep pace with human advancements, the Tsar adapted swiftly. They upgraded their tracking systems and reworked their combat strategies. Each confrontation became more intense, each battle more costly. Human colonies fortified their defenses, but the relentless pressure from the Tsar tested their limits. In a critical turning point, known as the Battle of Demise, a daring human commander led a covert assault on a vital Tsar supply route, bypassing enemy security using stealth technology. The mission crippled Tsar logistics, stalling their offensive momentum. Elsewhere, a small, outnumbered human outpost fended off a full-scale Tsar assault using automated defenses and high-tech drones. It was a shining example of tactical brilliance and sheer determination. Heroic moments emerged from the chaos, soldiers sacrificing themselves to ensure the survival of their comrades and to clinch strategic victories. As the war dragged on, the Tsar found themselves increasingly bewildered. Human adaptability and intelligent weapon systems continued to tilt the battlefield in their favor. But a deeper mystery began to unfold. Human analysts detected strange irregularities in Tsar communications and behavior, subtle deviations and patterns that defied logic. Slowly, an eerie possibility surfaced. There might be an unseen manipulator behind the conflict. Encrypted transmissions hinted at an ancient civilization, long thought to exist only in myth, a race far older than humans or the Tsar. A hidden force pulling the strings from the shadows. The truth was unveiled during a violent clash between human and Tsar forces. a colossal alien vessel suddenly emerged from hyperspace, halting the combat as both armies stared in stunned silence. The ancient race made contact. Their message was chilling. They had engineered the entire conflict, pitting humanity and the Tsar against each other to drain them both, clearing the way for their own conquest. What began as a brutal war between two enemies had now evolved into a far more terrifying reality. A new player had entered the stage, and neither side was ready for what was coming next. Faced with a far more dangerous adversary, both humans and the Zarok were compelled into an uneasy truce. The enemy they had once fought with hatred and bloodshed had now become their only chance at survival. Thus began a new phase in the battle for existence, one where predator and prey stood united against a force beyond their comprehension. Delegates from each side convened in a neutral location for tense negotiations. Each faction brought its own list of demands and grievances. The Zarok, represented by hardened warriors, distrusted humanity due to its history of ruthlessness. Meanwhile, humans, under the leadership of experienced diplomat General Wallace, were cautious of the Zarok's violent past. A palpable tension filled the air, as neither group was willing to reveal their strategies or share resources. Despite these challenges, key figures advocating cooperation emerged. Zarok tactician Kral viewed the alliance as a necessary evil for survival, while Captain Mira, who had personally witnessed the benefits of unity in earlier skirmishes, supported collaboration. Still, opposition from hardliners on both sides, unwilling to relinquish old grudges, posed a threat to the fragile pact. Yet the urgency of the ancient enemy's looming danger forced a reluctant agreement. The first joint missions were meticulously crafted, blending the Zarok's battle-hardened expertise with humanity's advanced technological capabilities. The coalition launched a series of coordinated attacks on enemy strongholds. As the campaign progressed, flashes of true partnership began to surface. In a critical operation to disable a powerful alien weapon, humans and Zarok fought as a single unit, securing a hard-earned victory through combined strength. Nevertheless, early collaborations were marred by distrust, leading to communication failures and near-catastrophic errors. In a decisive battle, human and Zarok fleets executed a bold maneuver to encircle and destroy a heavily fortified enemy base. Human strategic creativity, coupled with Zarok resilience and brute force, resulted in a turning point that shifted momentum in the war. Large-scale battles underscored the growing synergy between the two forces. Although tensions persisted, their joint efforts began to yield significant gains and foster mutual respect. Fighters who once viewed each other with suspicion began to trust and depend on one another. But then came betrayal. A high-ranking Zarok officer was discovered colluding with the ancient enemy, sabotaging a vital mission and causing heavy losses. The revelation sent shockwaves through the alliance, reigniting doubts and uncertainty. General Wallace and Commander Spar worked tirelessly to uncover the traitor and restore morale. Despite the damage, the betrayal paradoxically solidified the resolve of those still dedicated to the alliance's cause. The stage was set for a final confrontation. United by purpose and necessity, Zarok and human forces prepared to face their ancient foe and to finally resolve lingering internal divisions. The Human-Zarok Alliance launched a full-scale offensive on the enemy's main fortress. It was the culmination of everything they had fought to protect. The joint force displayed the full power of human innovation and Zarok ferocity. Precision strikes dismantled the enemy's defenses while ground troops engaged in savage, close-range battles. The outcome of the war and the survival of both species hung in the balance. The battlefield thundered with explosions. The air shook with the roar of war. Human commanders deployed strategic brilliance, while Zarok warriors charged forward with fearless intensity. The tide began to turn. The critical moment arrived when a mixed strike team infiltrated the enemy's command hub, planting explosives that disrupted their control systems. Leaderless and disorganized, the ancient race faltered. Their manipulative schemes, those that had once turned humans and Zarok against each other, started to collapse. Key contributions from both sides proved vital. Human engineers dismantled crucial defenses, while Zarok fighters broke enemy lines with unstoppable force. Caught off guard by the relentless and united opposition, the ancient race fell, piece by piece. The aftermath was both devastating and triumphant. Survivors from the Alliance stood amid the ruins, overwhelmed by a blend of relief and fatigue. Shouts of victory rang out, mingling with the quiet mourning for those lost in the struggle. In the days that followed, leaders from both species convened to formalize their newfound alliance. Treaties were signed to ensure future collaboration and shared security. The respect and understanding forged through war now served as the bedrock of peace. Hostilities that once defined their relationship were replaced with solidarity.